Thank you, Desmond. And our top story tonight, Southern California Edison sued by the feds.
The utility is accused of starting the Eaton fire in Altadena earlier this year and the Fairview fire in Hemet in 2022. KCAL
News reporter Jasmine Veal tells us prosecutors allege a pattern of negligence by SoCal Edison, with victims and taxpayers left to pay.
This is going into which area?
Freddie Saig's family lost almost everything in the deadly and destructive Eaton fire.
My parents lost their home. My sister lost their home. My brother lost their home. It's going to be a co-op center.
But he's rebuilding and transforming what was destroyed into a co-op community called Altadena Design Works to help others picking up the pieces too.
There's nowhere to go. There's no reason to come to Altadena. So we wanted to give them a space to come back and see each other.
He is one of hundreds of victims still fighting for justice and demanding compensation in a class action lawsuit against Southern California Edison, blaming the utility for sparking the fire with faulty equipment.
And the only way corporations become responsible is if they feel the pain. The only way to feel the pain is hurt the.
He hopes the company will, and says the latest move Thursday by the federal government to also sue the utility could strengthen their case.
We believe that the evidence is clear, that Edison is at fault, and by their own admissions, no one else is at fault.
Acting U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley announced 2 civil lawsuits against Edison, seeking nearly $80 million in damages from the Eaton and the 2022 Fairview wildfires.
This number only represents the damage to the United States government. It is our intention that Southern California Edison, the company itself, and not the ratepayers, will bear the burden of these costs.
Despite ongoing investigations into the cause of the fire, federal prosecutors are convinced it was here on these hillsides above the Eaton Canyon that faulty SoCal Edison equipment ignited the wildfire, and they want to make sure something like this never happens again.
We want Edison to change the way it does business. It does not maintain its infrastructure in a way that fires.
In a statement, Edison points out the cause of the Eaton fire is still under investigation and that the company is reviewing both lawsuits, saying in part, we continue our work to reduce the likelihood of our equipment starting a wildfire. And to wildfire mitigation, hardening, situational awareness, and operating practices. Freddie just about the accountability, and he hopes his community just one day.
You should just to the settlement, let us back and be a responsible corporate monopoly or get out of town.
In Altadena, Jasmine Veal, KCAL News.
And today, and Trump joined fire victims to what he calls dangerous delays and ongoing health risks in Altadena. Crowd families are demanding action to address the issue, ensure safety, and help those who are struggling 8 months after the fire.
And we're here to try to address the legal limbo that many of these families find themselves facing as they try to rebuild their homes and not be swindled out of their property.
Well, Crump says families remain out of their homes because of a slow permitting process that has allowed only a handful of rebuild permits to move forward, and experts warn that the soil and ground where homes once stood may be contaminated with toxic lead, creating serious health risks for the community.
The parents of missing baby Emmanuel Haro pleading not guilty to murder charges. Jake and Rebecca Haro appeared briefly today for their arraignments at the Riverside Hall of Justice. KCAL News reporter Amanda Starantino was in the courtroom.
Jake and Rebecca present with so much attention in this case. What happened to this little boy? Space was limited with media and community members packing the gallery. Judge Gary Polk presided over the arraignment, which lasted less than 10 minutes. Both parents joined by their attorney as they they're not guilty pleas.
The Haros were arrested last month after reporting their 7-month-old baby Emmanuel had from a parking lot in Yucaipa, but investigators became skeptical of their story and then arrested the couple on murder charges. Prosecutors believe abuse over time, which caused death. The baby has not been found. New here at 5, a brazen break-in at a jewelry store in Manhattan Beach.
And KCAL News assignment editor Mike Rogers us now with what police are saying about this. Mike?
Police Pat and Rudabay, just moments ago, we're actually hearing from the business themselves, who says in the 35 years that they have been in business, have never dealt with anything like this. I want to show you a video from the location. This is the area where it happened in Manhattan Beach. They have two locations, another store in Torrance and Redondo Beach as well. Now, they tell us that everything was taken. All the safes were broken into after this hit at South Bay Gold. Now, South Bay Gold tells us, along with police, that this happened in the early morning hours of Labor Day when everything was closed. It is believed, like we have seen in other burglaries, rather, that they may have broken in through a neighboring business or through the roof. Metro Police tell me tonight that they spent several hours inside of that business, taking everything that they could find. It's security was past incidents, past burglaries where systems have been disabled through a technique of using several high-tech tools. Now, the business tells us that they've had to stay closed, that they're calling this a very traumatic incident. As you can imagine, they're asking the public that may know anything to call the police. They say millions of dollars in jewelry were taken in this early morning burglary that lasted several hours on Labor Day. Monday, our Zach Bueno is working this story. We'll hear more from him and those devastated business owners coming up later tonight.
Indeed. All right. Thanks so much for that, Mike. We have this breaking news to tell you about. President Trump is planning to rename the Department of Defense. The Department of War. The president is expected to sign an executive on the renaming tomorrow. He can't formally change the name without legislation, and the White House is expected to request that from Congress. President Trump will allow the Pentagon to secondary name of war.
Now to the weather and the cool down. In the live look from the Hollywood Hills. It is still warm out there, but nothing like the heat we felt earlier this week.
And meteorologist Evelyn Taft tracking that cool down. She's here. Well, she's in the weather sphere for our next weather forecast.
Av, thank you. The LAPD says they need your help in finding a driver who struck and killed a 25-year-old man on his way home from a night with friends.
Well, police are offering a reward of $50,000 for information on the suspect's whereabouts.
KCAL News reporter Rachel Kim shows us new video of the crash and the moments the suspect took off.
Video from July 5th shows eastbound on 91st Street to make a left turn onto Figueroa. White Porsche